So I'm excited to welcome you to this episode of The Real Estate, where we'll be talking to the newest entrepreneur a couple of times over, newest licensed realtor, and newest wealth builder, even out of the Water Walkers family. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're going to have this conversation with our guest this week, Miss Brianna Elliott, on The Real Estate. Hey everybody, as promised, we are here for this episode of The Real Estate. We're so glad you chose to join us today. Before we even get started, I'm going to need you to share this channel, like, subscribe, click on that notification bell, do what you've got to do to make sure you're connected with us, because you're going to really enjoy this conversation today. And I want you to share it with as many people as you can, especially the young people that may be in your family or your neighborhood or in your circle, because the young lady that we're going to have a conversation with today, I'm really excited because she happens to be our firstborn daughter. She happens to be the closest thing I got to a namesake. And she's really powerful. She's got a lot going on. This is not her first rodeo in terms of entrepreneurship, but I believe this is a real level up. And so if you'd give a warm round of applause, Real Estate welcome to Miss Brianna Elliott.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you.
I'm so glad to have you here as a guest on The Real Estate. Now,
something like that.
Yeah, right? So Brianna's normally on the other side of the camera, helping out with production and making sure the technology is all working right. But we had to invite her on this side of the camera today because we have a super special announcement. Maybe we've already let the cat out of the bag. But Brianna is officially licensed as a realtor here in the greater Lynchburg area. And I'm trying to tell you, that's the best news ever, because now the real estate just got realer. Brianna, how are you feeling as the newest realtor in the area?
I feel good. I feel a sense of accomplishment because there are a few barriers to entry to get into the industry. Yeah. And so I do feel relatively accomplished. I feel proud of myself, and I feel excited and just ready to get to work. Well, I've already gotten to work, but ready to keep it going, you know? Yeah,
it's on. The best kept secret, I think, is that prior to licensure, you are already very deeply immersed in what we're doing as a family, in some of the investment work and helping me out as a realtor. So something happened along the way that caused you to want to come into the business. Now, I guess that's the first question I want to put forward. Mm-hmm. What made you decide, or what caused you to take the steps necessary to become not only a licensed real estate salesperson, but a realtor?
So I could answer that question from many different sort of perspectives, or from many different points of view, but I would first just like to say that real estate isn't anything new to me. You know what I mean? Like, the concept of real estate has been a conversation that I was sort of born into, and that I was just always around. And so I don't think it was a surprise when I decided to join the family business, I guess you could say. But I would say I made the decision to begin my journey to become a licensed salesperson, but then a realtor, when it was a little bit before the pandemic started, and I gained a new appreciation for property value and a new understanding of the power that real estate has. And so when I gained that knowledge, I knew I wanted to get in it. And I knew that I came to an understanding before many people did, and I thought it would be a disservice if I didn't pay it forward. And so really I got into the business, I got into the industry, I became a realtor so that I could have full access to help other people gain access. So that's pretty much.
I get
that's my motivating factor.
I get it. And I'm going to ask some of these questions as though I haven't been there with you for the journey.
Yeah.
Because I think some folks can really benefit from hearing what the process has kind of been. So I heard you mention that hard times, we know them these days as the pandemic, right? Mm-hmm. Hard times caused you to come into some realization of the value and the power of property ownership. Say a little bit more about that experience. What was it that caused you to begin to develop that understanding? Mm-hmm. What was it that you saw or experienced that caused you to see, you know what, this is worth me putting my hand on it?
Yeah. Well, not to tell the family's business, Tell
it all. It's the real estate. It's cool.
Yeah. So like I said, real estate has always been something I was cognizant of, something that, I was aware of. But I would say, to put it very frankly, one of my most formative memories is having to move out of my parents' first home that they purchased for themselves due to foreclosure. Yeah. And that was during the Great Recession of 2008. Everyone was going through it. And I remember having to leave the house and never go back to it. The house that I came home from the hospital in, all that kind of stuff. And so those were rough times that I remember, the years afterwards, the months afterwards even. And I remember, driving around the different suburbs of where we were living with my parents, and it was a fun thing. We made a little family. Yeah. My 8-year-old self. A little family adventure, a little family hobby we used to do. And we just kind of used to drive around pointing out the houses we liked. That could be our next house. That could be our next house, because we currently didn't have a house of our own anymore. And so it just became something that I grew to love. I grew to appreciate looking at houses. But 9-10 years old, I wasn't like, that house probably costs $150,000. That house probably costs such and such. That house is probably valued at such and such. Mm-hmm. And so, I knew that I enjoyed that on the surface level. And then when my dad became a realtor and he started speaking about property around the house from the angle of valuation and really analyzing properties how investors do and how, in the way that turns property into cash, it intrigued me because I realized he had a level of knowledge about our situation back in 2008 that I had no idea about. And so I really wanted to know more. I wanted to clue in, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's really what piqued my interest, knowing that he had the knowledge and I didn't. But yeah, I get now it. I do.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool because I know exactly what happened back in 2008.
Yeah.
Even though it seemed like out of nowhere back then, I know I can explain exactly what happened. And so that's just so amazing to me, that knowledge. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you have that reference point, although those were hard times. It wasn't easy. 2008 was a rough time for so many people because of things like predatory lending, because of inflated valuation on property, and people were able to get loans on property that wasn't worth what they were borrowing on it. And if you didn't know better, it was buyer beware. You got left holding the bag, and that happened to us. And like you said, you were a young child. You were 8. And yeah, we found ways to make it an adventure. We're doing the Dora to the Explorer thing. We're going on a berry hunt, but we're going on a house hunt. And as a family, even with your little sister, she was part of the experience and she was part of the equation even then. And I remember saying in that time, having, taken the shot and gone through the challenge of that time, I remember saying, I'm going to learn everything. I'm going to learn everything I need to know, because this can't ever happen to my family again. And I've got to, I developed a thirst. I took the mortgage classes a couple of times over. I've taken the different states, real estate licensure, and just, I needed to have as much information as I could, because I felt like if we'd have known better, we would have definitely done better back then. And so now, having come full circle, now we're in 2021. And the real estate industry is very different, but the principles are still the same. And so it's exciting for me to see you taking steps forward in understanding, before you get out there in the deep water, what it took your mom and I, some rough experiences in order to come to find out. So now let's address the elephant in the room, because you are a full-time college student.
Full-time.
At the College of William and Mary. Go Tribe. And, gotta do it. They get enough of my money. I might as well root for the football team. All right. So, and so you're a full-time student majoring in what?
Government with a minor in kinesiology on the pre-med track.
Whew. Majoring in government with a minor in kinesiology on a pre-med track. So is it your career goal to end up as a real estate salesperson?
No, that's definitely not my end goal, but real estate will almost always be one of my streams of income. Yeah,
it'll be a stream of income, and really a wealth accumulation tool. I'm not sure that's necessarily the same thing.
Right.
Streams of income are one thing, but then building and accumulating, holding on to wealth. And, you got it honest. It's a family trait. It's what we do. It's how we've always moved. So now, let me ask you another question. So since you've been licensed, what has the experience been like as a brand new realtor, having to do the things that realtors have to do on a daily basis, and in terms of the interactions with people and some of those things? What have been some of the hurdles or some of the high points?
Okay, so let me take a second to think on that. I didn't know you were going to ask that question. So I'll definitely say it's been a rewarding challenge, but a challenge nonetheless, to fit it into my school schedule along with the other entrepreneurial ventures I have. Plus, it's been a challenge because I am not a full-time realtor, or I am not a full-time realtor how many full-time realtors see it. Right. If that makes sense. So it's so far been very rewarding. One thing that I have learned that I enjoy through my journey so far as a realtor is that I really do enjoy interacting with people. And I know that sounds weird because it's like you're 20 years old. You didn't know you enjoyed interacting with people, but I think it's something I took for granted until the pandemic. And so just sort of being able to reignite that after having done a remote semester and a half in college and all that kind of stuff, not really being able to interact with people the same way. That's definitely been the most rewarding thing, I would say. And then, did you ask about the low points? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I would say the low point, or I haven't had that many lows yet, but I hope to not have it. Yeah, but we're gonna keep it's a roller coaster ride, I suppose. But for me, right now, I'd say just how self-motivated you have to be in order to be in this business. Everyone is trying to get theirs, and you got to wake up earlier. You got to stay up later. You have to be ready to put in the work. And so I think, I don't want to say it's a low, but it definitely is something I didn't readily realize getting into it. But I'm not mad at it, you know what I mean? Yeah. Got to do what you got to do, but yeah, I'd say these
are the facts. You do have to, you have to see it as a daily grind, and I see you doing the things that it takes to get ahead, and the things that it takes to really, really succeed in this business. And then I guess that means, I'm going to pretend I haven't had this conversation with you yet, but I guess that means you intend to use this vehicle to help you not only finish school and do what you need to do there, but then to get a good launch in life without having to start life in debt.
Oh, yeah.
And using resources that we've always had in terms of knowledge and in terms of insight, to be able to create the type of lifestyle for yourself that you imagine yourself having. Now, let's back it up just a little bit. As a matter of fact, wait. I need you to pause right now. Go press the like button. Press the subscribe button. Share this video with somebody else. Share this channel with somebody else. They need this information, and you owe it to them to share it with them. Come on, do it now. Do it now. Hurry up. Do it now. Okay, so back to our conversation. Rewind the tape just a little bit. And now I was there with you every step of the way, but I really want to hear through your words, through your perspective. What did it take from the moment you decided this is the direction I want to go right now? What did it take? What were the steps? How did it unfold for you to get from a standstill to being a fully fledged real estate professional?
Okay. So I would say my journey started back in May of 2020. We'd been having the conversation about me getting into the industry, me taking the licensing course, all that kind of stuff. But we obviously had just entered into our new hard times. I was new to an online remote semester. I was fully into my semester, and so I was just kind of like, I don't have time. Like, I really want to do it, but I really don't have time to take this licensing course. And so I won't go into detail, but there was something I really wanted my dad to help me with at like the end of May, and he was like, I'm not helping you until you start this licensing course. And so I started it. He did for me what I asked him to do, and I started the licensing course. So here in Virginia, what it takes to become a licensed real estate professional is you need to take a 60-hour pre-licensing course. You need to, pass all their mini exams and then pass their final exam, and then move on to take the state and national exams. So I started the licensing course at the end of May, beginning of June of 2020. I started off so slow. I was taking notes on every definition. Like, it was definitely so slow. I was like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? It's going to take me forever. I'm not going to be done by the time the next semester starts up, all this kind of stuff. And so one day my dad came into my room and saw me taking all these notes, taking forever to get through a lesson. He was like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing it like that? Just read the material. You got it. Like, this stuff, blah, blah, blah. So I picked it up somewhere around level 6. Our course consisted of 27 levels. I picked it up somewhere around level 6, and I was done, I want to say, early to mid-October. Mm-hmm. I was finished with the course and with, the testing for the course and all that kind of stuff. It was I slowed back down again once school started up again in August, but it became fun. It definitely became an escape from school at a certain point, because I was done learning the formative things, and I was very much into the application, and that was very intriguing to me. So then I finished the course. I took my state and national exam at the beginning of November. I passed on the first try.
Hey.
I'm very proud to say that. And I applied for licensure very shortly after. I received my license mid-December of 2020. I got affiliated with my brokerage, eXp Realty.
Where?
eXp Realty.
Say it again for the people in the back.
Let me stop. eXp Realty.
Hey,
period.
That's how we roll. Is there another brokerage? Are there other brokerages? If they are, I'm sure they're great. Okay? eXp Realty. Go ahead.
eXp Realty. I got affiliated with eXp Realty. I want to say like literally December 30th of 2020. And then from there, it was just an onboarding process of me learning, eXp policies, all this kind of stuff. And then very shortly after, I got affiliated with our local real estate association, Lynchburg Association of Realtors, where I was finally able to stop calling myself a licensed salesperson, a licensed real estate agent, but I could call myself a licensed realtor with the registered trademark behind it.
With the trademark. Go ahead, girl.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I am now. Really working very hard on promoting myself, building relationships, and getting deals signed and contracts underway and all that kind of stuff. So,
well, let me let a little bit of a cat out of the bag. Earlier today, whatever day this is that we recorded this episode, I'm pretty sure I saw you get your first buyer representation.
You did.
Hey, so now we gotta go find those people a house.
Yep.
And get them set up, get them straightened out.
Yep. And we will.
Oh, we certainly will.
Yep.
If you're watching, your days of renting are numbered. Okay.
They are.
Because you're messing with the right ones at this point. So now, you mentioned eXp Realty. Mm-hmm. What caused you to choose eXp Realty out of all the many brokerages that are out there?
That was a very leading question.
Yeah. Come on. Just tell me what I want to hear. I want to hear.
Mm-hmm. So my sponsor in the brokerage is obviously my dad. And I obviously didn't take the traditional route of interviewing brokerages, because at the point where I knew I was ready to get affiliated with a brokerage, I had already been familiar with eXp. I'd already been to many of their events, and I was familiar with them.
Sort of pre-cooked.
Yeah. And so it sort of was a no-brainer for me. I knew that, not to get all technical and everything, but I knew the split was something I was comfortable with in terms of...
You mean the commission split?
Yeah, the commission split, yeah. Mm-hmm. Was something I was comfortable with. I really enjoy the fact that we are a cloud-based firm, just because I am a college student. It gives me the flexibility that I need to carry out my transactions, not tied to a building, a desk, whatever. And I really, really enjoy the community of eXp. I feel like it's just a very mentorship-minded brokerage. And I have my personal mentor, who's not my dad, but then I also have my dad. I have access to my dad's mentor, and then I have access, whoever I shoot an email to will likely respond with an answer I can depend on. You know what I mean?
Shout out to Wendy Witt.
Shout
out to Jimmy Rufus.
And
a big shout out to our upline out there. Yeah, out in Texas, holding it down, Chauncey fam. We know you went through some things during the storm, but we're watching you thug it out. That's how we do. That's how the Money Badgers do. Just wanted to give you that quick shout out. Shout out to you. So now we're with eXp Realty. Yeah. We see it as being an advantage for a lot of reasons. I heard you mention the support. And the mentorship, the emphasis on technology. And so now here's our chance. Listen, if there are any of you out there considering a career in real estate, maybe you're at another brokerage, maybe you're not happy where you are, or maybe you're just looking to explore your options, let us have a conversation with you about eXp Realty. We promise we won't sell you anything. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But I think if you look at things for what they are, you may discover that, I tell you what, just go into your Robinhood app and check out EXPI and look at what's happened over the last year or so and see what's happening with EXP Realty, and it should speak for itself. You know what I mean? All right, cool. Back to you. So, Brianna, tell me this. And now I heard you talk about the fact that you're a full-time college student, that real estate is not necessarily your end career goal, but it's a means to an end. Mm-hmm. Where do you think the instinct, now you've taken it all back through us and through your rough experience at 8 years old, but where do you think, based on what you've heard and read and learned and understood over the years, okay, where do you think the instinct for land and property kind of come from in you?
I don't want to get into the whole nurture over nature argument, but I feel like it definitely is a mixture of both. Land ownership, property ownership goes back in our family through the generations. Something I'm very proud of is that my great-grandfather built his family house with his own 2 hands for him, his wife, and his 6 kids. Yeah. And that land is still in our family to this day. Like, I'm very proud of that. So that might be a DNA thing. I don't know. He owned farms. So he owned land, and I feel like that's something that was definitely passed down and that I've taken hold to as sort of a anchor in my history. And then, ever since I can remember, our vacation homes and things like that have been places that we've owned and places that I knew that we owned, you know what I mean? And so I think just knowing that was kind of the standard, it almost seemed like a no-brainer. So I think that's probably where that comes from, almost on an intuitive level. And then thinking back to 2008, I know now, especially with my faith and with how I know our family is set up and how God set our family up, that was a valley point, like a valley low that really just set us up for an aspirational journey to restoration. And so I know ownership is what he has for us, and that's what we will achieve. So that's sort of...
sidebar. I don't think we've ever talked about this, but I noticed, especially in the last little while since we've been really, really focusing on, our investment and our real estate stuff, I've noticed that my real estate studying and my Bible studying is starting to get real blurry, and I'm noticing that the whole Bible is about real estate.
Yep.
Literally from the garden to Armageddon. Armageddon represents a battle fought in a place called Megiddo. And I don't want to get deep and preachy on you, but the entire Bible, the foundation of our faith, is the cultivation, the acquisition, the cultivation, even the distribution of land and resources. And so, I think it's a good conversation for somebody your age to have, and to be able to have such insight at 20 years old. Being able to connect your faith values, your family values, and your financial values all into one conversation. I think that's pretty unique. And I'm your number one fan. I'm your bodyguard. When I need to be, I'm your banker. Hopefully that turns into the opposite way around, at some point later on down the road. But until then, you're good. You're pre-approved. Yeah, man. And between your mom and I, we're really, really proud of you, and we showcase you. We tell everybody we know about you and your sister. Now, one last, well, no, I won't say one last. I don't know what happens after this question, but is this your first time being an entrepreneur?
No.
No. What business have you had prior to this?
What businesses?
Businesses.
Yeah. So my first entrepreneurial venture was with my sister, back in 2012, 2012, 2013. We had a baking business.
We had to get you another kitchen so you could do that.
Yes.
Sorry. I had to. Okay.
So we had a baking business and real estate, right?
Real estate.
We had a baking business. It was definitely my recipes from like home ec in middle school, but people liked it. We rocked it, and we made a good amount of money off of it. That business partnership did dissolve. And then probably my biggest entrepreneurial venture to date would probably be my hair and skincare business that I have called Cloud 11 Hair.
What's it called?
Cloud 11 Hair.
What's it called?
Cloud 11 Hair.
They got a website?
Sure do. www.cloud11hair.com. Instagram at Cloud11Hair. Facebook Cloud11Hair.
Hey.
Go check it out.
I'm a spokesmodel.
And so I started that back in 2016, my sophomore year of high school. That was where I really kind of put my entrepreneur cap on, and it hasn't come off.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, from baking cookies to hair and skincare into real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And so Cloud 11 is still up and running.
Still up and running.
Still growing.
Still growing.
You still got your business partner with you?
Sure do.
Yeah?
Yup.
Nice. Nice. And she'll have her own episode one of these days too, coming up soon. She's working on some stuff. Shout out to Brianna Elliott, who's she masters the sound and some of our technology. All right. So, real estate family, if you have questions or thoughts for Brianna, what I want you to do, right? I want you to either leave them in the comments here, or I want you to reach out directly to Brianna. She's going to give you her information so that you can put it into your Rolodex or whatever it is you use to store your important contacts. But especially for the young folks that might be watching, Brianna, are you open to having conversations with some young people that
Definitely.
Might want to know how to get done what they see you doing?
Definitely. My main goal in being in real estate is to make home ownership and wealth accessible for people of all ages. So no matter how old you are, come let me know that you're interested, and we can definitely get you on a journey to being where you're trying to be in this industry.
You work with buyers?
Yep.
You work with sellers?
Yep.
You work with renters?
Hey.
You work with investors?
Yep.
You work with wannabes?
Sure do.
Yeah, man, we do
I'll
it.
work with you if you'll work with me. How about that?
That's exactly right. Look, real estate family, I want you to really, really, really look out for this young lady. She's on the ball. Ever since she's been licensed, I've watched her daily routine. She's gonna have to be successful. It only works in one direction when you put in the right work. She's a lady of integrity. She's my daughter, so she's my favorite realtor in the whole world. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I know that her standard of excellence is something that'll be really, really a blessing to you. So use her services. Listen, there's no choice to make between Byron J. Elliott and Brianna Elliott. There's really just a couple of letters difference. So like if you just jumble it up, you're really reaching out to the same person. And ultimately, we're moving together as Team Water Walkers. So you'll see us out there. You'll see us moving. We have some other special announcements coming up to you real soon. We made some more additions to the team. And we're anxious to share that with you as well. But listen, we're going to wrap up this episode of The Real Estate. Brianna, is there anything you want to tell the people before we let them go? Anything you need them to know?
I would say if there's anything that I wanted to pass on to y'all is that if you have something that you want to do or that you know God has called you to do, go for it and do not let anyone stand in your way. I have people, looking at me funny now, signed up on my Instagram stories, this, that, and the third. Like, do you really think you can handle all this? How are you doing all this? Yeah. But I know what I'm meant to do, and so I'm gonna keep pushing towards that. And so, yeah, that's what I'd say. If you know it's something you're meant to do, go for it. Don't stop.
Go for it and don't stop.
Yep.
All right. So we've got your Cloud 11 contact. How can we reach out to you in the real estate world? Sure.
So the way that I'm sort of branding myself the way I'm the way I'm branding myself as is Brianna the Realtor. So on Instagram, Brianna the Realtor. It'll be on the screen. My email is brianna.elliott@exprealty.com. My website, briannaelliott@exprealty.com. Facebook, Brianna Elliott Realtor, EXP Realty. Hit me up, message me, like on some stuff, comment on some stuff. You'll get my attention, and we will have a conversation.
Yeah, we're going to make some things happen, baby girl.
Yep.
We're going to make some things happen. I'm looking forward to taking over this town with you.
Me too.
Hey. All right, so the last thing I think I need to leave with you is the same thing I leave with you every episode. Wherever you go, whatever you do, always remember, keep it real.